Hello! So today I was scrolling through Reddit and then I noticed a funny, quirky little button called the controversial tab. And for some reason it's only on my phone. So I went through my phone and I saved a whole bunch of posts that I didn't quite read. I just read the titles and I thought to myself, this is the perfect content machine. So today I'll be going through the cesspool that is Reddit. And we'll be having a look at these wonderful opinions, these hot takes, if you will, and we'll see the community's takes on Season 7 thus far. The model 1887 is outclassed by the repeater in almost every way. Facts. He gives a bunch of reasons, which is true. It has more range. It does the same damage at close and long. It has a headshot multiplier. It has a faster reload. Has a bigger mag. I mean, the list could go on. The repeater's pretty good, man. The main benefit of using the model over the repeater at the moment is there is no movement penalties and hipfire is always accurate. Honestly, even the Nerf Cerberus is better than the model at the moment. It's just not it, man. I do think you need to buff the model, and I think we need to buff a bunch of things. But, you know, there's something on my mind that needs a buff. I can't quite place my finger on it. Something. The GL is annoying as hell, and now it's 5 in a single round. The sound is pissing me off. It's boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I understand that. GL is definitely very good at the moment, especially in something like ranked, which is another opinion I have. I want to go on a tangent in a minute about ranked, but right now we'll just talk about the GL. You can bring the grenade launcher into ranked, and if you don't notice there's a GL in your game, and you don't decide to bring APS, you're in for a bad time. I don't know what to tell you. It's just that strong. If you have APS though, you can shut this thing down pretty quickly. That's one of the main things I think at the moment is holding ranked back from being better than World Tour. And that is reserves being reserves. I truly think you should be able to change your reserves mid-game. I don't even think that's a hot take. I think being able to change your kit on the fly, I feel is such an average request. Every ranked game I know, you can change your characters, your heroes, your kit mid-game. It doesn't make sense to me that you have this reserve kit that you can only use at the start of each round. You should be able to counter what you're versing. To me, that's why things are getting nerfed instead of just fixing the ranked mode. Because when things are too oppressive, when you can't use your counters, yeah, sword is going to feel oppressive if you can't switch the glitch trap. Old sword, not new sword. Old sword. New sword is a wet noodle. It's not even a threat. Yeah, sledge is going to feel oppressive if you can't run counters to it. Maybe you want to run a shotgun so that when he drags you into his face, you could deal a buttload of damage and your team can finish off the sledge, you know? And GL, if you had APS sitting in your reserves specifically so you could counter GLs, GL wouldn't be a problem, you know? And if GL's getting countered by APSs, you could swap off GL. I don't understand. Ranked is such a problematic game mode. I'm not going to go into ranked as a whole in this video because honestly it's such a silly game mode to me. It feels like the biggest buff they can give to ranked is just letting you access your reserves. It doesn't make any sense to me. Late to the party on this one, but this was such an awful change, literally made evident by the mountain of text required to defend it. The Sledgehammer nerf. The Sledgehammer nerf was... Woof. The Sledgehammer nerf was an interesting choice. As a light player, I don't mind it. I can't be real with you. As a light player, this is fine. But I do feel for you guys. Like I saw a post earlier. I saved it here. There's some guy that said still no hammer nerf revert. Brother, you're not even close to living in my world. It's nearly been a full season since my sword nerf, bro. A full season. 6.3 was the sword nerf. We are nearly there, boys. We're nearly at a full season. They said they would fix it after the stun gun, and now we're still waiting on it, man. Yeah, but from what I know, the sledge was actually used in a lot of professional matches. Like, it was deemed really, really good. So I can understand to an extent why it's nerfed, but for more casual players that aren't very good at the game, I felt like sledge was definitely like an easy go-to. And it was something you could master and be quite proficient in. I think the thing that made sledge really good was winch. If we never had winch to begin with, it would never have been a problem as it is. I don't know why it was even brought into the game, to be honest. Bringing in a player that was in your team of 3, like a light for instance, just felt like a death sentence every time anyway. If your team is somewhat coordinated, a winch on a player is just death. That's just it. That's just the end of that player. So I don't know why winch is a thing, but that's really what made Sledge strong. It wasn't the fact that it did super high damage. It was the fact you could drag any player you wanted through bubbles, through mesh, through all that, and whack them as hard as you wanted, you know? Which is probably another reason it got nerfed, because people were running mesh heavy and you could drag a mesh heavy in and whack them without worrying about it not hitting or hitting. It was pretty strong, man. It was very strong because of winch, but that's it. So honestly, we need to really start thinking about like specializations in this game and what we need to do about them, because winch is a very problematic specialization. And I know it's hard for us to rework whole abilities or even just get rid of whole abilities, but sometimes we need to ask that question, is this even good for the game? And I think winch being a stun, and then you buffed it for some reason, so it was harder to get out of winch. When I don't know, bro, this ability is just so wild to me. You put him up in the air so you can't run or slide away. Winch is such a problem and it needs to go. But that's the reason why this got nerfed, realistically, is just winch. Winch needs to go. Heavy already has a lot of good stuff going for it. I don't think it needed winch as well. Should I play the finals as a new player? Now, I've seen a couple of these posts. Why this game is so unfriendly to new players, blah, 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 blah. There's been a bunch of posts about new players, and from what I've heard, the new player experience is rough. I think that's to do with matchmaking as a whole. You jump into a quick cache, and you're going to get dropped in with some sweaty boys like myself that do nothing but play this game 24/7. That's just the sad truth of it, especially if you're in a region like OCE, where we don't have many players to begin with. You more than likely going to get dropped in with some real sweats. Like, I solo queued in quick cache the other day and I played with 2 actual level 1 players. I lost, surprisingly. That's not my point. My point is like, I've had nearly 2,000 hours in this game. I'm definitely one of the better players out there, and I'm getting dropped in with these actual new players that have never touched the game. Imagine if they're on the other team, which happens multiple times. They're not going to feel good about some guy that's farming them from clips, you know? It's not fun. I do think the matchmaking needs to change a little bit, even for OCE, but you know, that's also hard because it's a small game still at the moment. If it was a much bigger game, I would actually vote for skill-based matchmaking, but because it's such a small game still, and so many regions are just like struggling to even get players, it's just really hard to accommodate to new players, which makes it a problem because how do you grow your player base, you know? I don't know. It's not a problem I think I have the knowledge to solve, but I mean, I'm sure the devs have been trying to figure this out for ages. Being able to access old battle passes, kind of smart. It might drag in new players that are disappointed they couldn't get old season stuff, and now they can. That's pretty smart, but I still don't know what you got to do to make new player experience more fun. The melee playstyle is at its worst during Season 7. It needs some serious help, Ember. What? Melee sucks. What? No way. Yeah, the 2 most viable melee weapons, the sledge and the sword, got absolutely demolished. Currently, melee weapons are too high risk with very little reward in ranked gameplay. True. Their effectiveness requires extensive planning, yet they offer minimal payoff compared to the danger involved. A single mistake in positioning or movement leads to immediate death in a duel, making them highly punishing and unreliable for serious competitive use. Now, the argument here is that people don't think melee should be competitive. And my argument is the reason I loved the finals to begin with is every single weapon felt viable. Now, nowadays, it doesn't feel like that, but every weapon felt like they had a chance of doing something crazy and good. Now, the ideas this guy's giving is just not the go. I think we just need to revert some of these nerfs and buff a lot more weapons and add gadgets that counter the things that are strong. And the ranked idea I had, simply adding reserves to ranked will drastically improve the gameplay experience for ranked. I'm telling you. Some people will argue that it will make it less competitive if people can change their kit. I would argue it makes ranked way less stale Me, ranked is where you play your most versatile and stale kit. If you want to grind ranked, you're going to have a very tough time playing anything off meta, or you're going to have an amazing time playing anything off meta, because the people that are playing their versatile playstyles won't be able to run APS, because who's going to run APS against that one guy that's playing GL, you know? Or who's going to play Glitch Trap against that one guy that's playing Sword? Glitch Trap's okay against other things other than Sword, but you run these things because you're trying to counter specific things. But most of the time, like as a medium, what you want to run is probably Grenade, Jump Pad, or Zipline, and Defib as a ranked player. You know, like you don't want to run APS and you don't want to run Glitch Trap unless you have to. And if you have to, that's a good thing. You're making the gameplay more dynamic and versatile. It allows you to counter things and allows you to think proactively. It's like, oh, like these are in my reserves because I'm making sure that if I do come across these things that I struggle to fight against, like now I'll have a direct counter to that specific thing, which to me is why melee got nerfed. Like you're playing against a Sword Light in ranked and your team's not running Glitch Trap. What do? You probably lose. Unless like the heavy's running something, unless the heavy's got winch and shotgun or something, you know, like there's definitely ways to have dealt with Sword. Honestly, there was so many counters to Sword, it still baffles me why it even got nerfed in the first place. Honestly, yet again, I'd be happy with a nerf to multi-hit and get rid of multi-hit, or you just reduce the damage of multi-hit per hit. Like it does full damage for the first one, the second one it peters off by 50%, and then another 50%. I don't care. But getting rid of single target damage for the Sword was always a problem. But yeah, no, melee needs some serious help. I think all these fun, versatile playstyles need some help. They don't need to be nerfed. They need to be buffed. And other things need to be buffed or brought in to make it more fun and dynamic. I'm not touching ranked until this light heal gun is gone from the game. Yeah, no, I understand. The light heal gun is oppressive as fuck, dude. Holy crap. Being a heavy from like 5 HP to making it a full HP heavy is crazy, dude. You could essentially have 3 heavies in the game with an extra light. It's insane. It's insane. I don't know what they were thinking with light heal, medium heal, heavy heal. I don't know why everyone needs a heal. Think about some of your favorite games and think about why it got ruined. I'll tell you why. I don't play Marvel Rivals. I played that for 2 weeks. I got real sick of it because of support. When support is really strong, it feels awful to play against. I used to play Overwatch back in the day. I was a Genji and Hanzo main. And then they brought in Brigitte to stop the dive meta. And you know what it did? It made dive way more prevalent and got rid of the fun characters that were a part of dive. So I dropped Overwatch after that. Heals are just the least fun part of any game. You play any game and you tell me what the most fun part of any game is. It ain't healing, alright? There's only very few players in the world that actually enjoy healing over damage, bro. Damaging people is way more fun than healing people will ever be. That's just factual. So when you make healing so much more prevalent, it just makes the game feel slow, clunky, and boring. But yeah, honestly, heal just sucks. I don't like it. I don't like that it's becoming more prevalent. And I don't like that light has a heal that insta-heals their tank to full again. It's stupid. Crazy Slow AF with the show tokens. Raise awareness, boys. From what I'm gathering, he thinks it takes a very long time to get these show tokens, which are the tokens that allow you to get the old battle passes. But in my eyes, that's fine, to be honest. A, you did not access the battle pass beforehand. So getting slow tokens, to me, is not a huge deal. And B, you can pick anything you want when you get the tokens. It's not I'll have to start from the start and go all the way to the end. Pick whatever you want. If there's a specific item you want out of it, you can gather enough tokens and get the item. I don't see this as a problem. I think everything they've done with the battle passes as of late is not even a big deal. The amount that it costs for the mythic stuff is a little steep, and it's also a game I'm willing to invest into and help grow. So if that money helps the game grow a bit, then so be it. Bro, what the hell is the DB shotgun online? This thing is broken as hell. There isn't a game where someone isn't abusing it. I can't really think of a counter other than medium running turret. How is that fair? an invisible person can just 2-tap someone at light speed. The game is unplayable with it like this. I agree to an extent. I just think that other things need to be buffed around it. I think invis as an ability, which is something I've always thought is always been stupid. I love invis bomb because I feel like as a gadget, it has so much counterplay. You throw it on the ground, makes big boom sound, so you know people are invisible. But invis as a whole is always just like, you could be invis and not even know he exists in that area, you know? It should be reworked and should be completely different. I think it should be not invisible, but invincible on a cooldown. And what do you mean by this, Mr. Jacket? Don't tell me there's invincible lights running around. No, I mean kind of like how the nullifier works in a way, but the moment you come out of said nullification, there'd be like a half a second cooldown or a cooldown on it where you can't fire your weapon or charge a weapon or do any of that stuff. It'd be a great like escape tool for light, but it wouldn't actually be oppressive in the sense that you could run in and do shit tons of damage and leave. But yeah, it would. I honestly think invis is just such a weird one that it shouldn't have even been in the game to begin with. Invis bomb's fine, but invis as a whole, it just feels weird. As a light, Embark should lean into quick melee combos. Preach! So he's giving some buffs to weapons that allow quick melee to do some kills. He's saying double body shot quick melee for Pike. I don't think they should allow Pike to do that. Pike is already a 3-tap to the chest for a light. That's already heaps of damage. And the fire rate is insane. I don't think that one should happen. Full reversion on hammer. I'm fine with that. Lunge should do 120. Honestly, yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to be better where it was, but I still think 140 and then reduce the damages on multi-hit and stuff. That'd be fine. I think Sword's biggest strength, and as much as people think it's multi-hit, it was not multi-hit. It was single target kills. Being able to rush in, get the guy that's kind of lingering on his side, get the kill and dip, was the biggest strength of Sword. And so you take that away, you're trying to hope that they're clumped together, do lots of damage, and then what? Like, it's a heal meta too. So let's say you hit all 3 twice. That's 210 damage. Not a lot, by the way, but let's say you do that. 210 damage, okay? And they're all mediums and heavies. You somehow escape, and you come back, they're full healed because a heavy's got a heal ball and one of the mediums has got a heal beam. And God forbid there was a light not even in there, and you come back, the light's healed the team to full instantly. Yeah, Sword is just at a real problem state. So we'll see what they do with Sword in the future. But for now, it's just really bad. Heavy slug dealing 110 from 100 is oof city, dude. I don't know if it was 105 or if it was 110 when the winch was around, but either way, like, you could winch, shoot them in the face and quick melee them. It was literally an insta kill every time on a light, and that felt awful, bro. I don't know about fixing the KS. The KS is fine where it is. I don't know. I feel like this website as a whole is the reason why Sword got nerfed. So we'll see what Embark does, but honestly, as it stands, melee as a whole blows. There's no single melee weapon I could think of that's even good anymore, except for dagger. That's it. And even then, the backstab on dagger is still fucking hard to hit sometimes, bro. And sometimes you think you hit it and you didn't. This title kind of sums up how I feel about the game. The comment, his actual opinions are a bit ooh, but but as a whole, I don't think nerfs are going to help fix this game. We need way more buffs. We need buffs and we need counters to the things that are buffed. Like, I played Sword for 6 seasons, dude. Let's say 5, because honestly I did not play it in season 6 after the nerf. So often there would be a different nerf to Sword in a different way where I'd have to change my playstyle completely. Like, there's been 2 nerfs that made Sword unplayable, and that's when they made the lunge attack have less range than the left click. That was wild to me. Then they half reverted it where the lunge itself gets cut off, but like the range from the actual sword when you lunge got reverted back to normal. That was awesome. And then they nerfed it again into absolute oblivion. Now it is unplayable. Like before, at least it did the high damage if you did get in, but now it's like literally, what are you doing with your life? There's no point in playing the weapon. Better off playing any other weapon. To me, killing off a playstyle that I've perfected over 5 seasons, it honestly just feels targeted, bro. It feels mean. And it's obviously not what they're trying to do. They're not trying to target me specifically or sword players specifically. They just want everyone to enjoy the game, no doy. When you do that to someone's weapon, like I've seen in many of my comments, people just leave the game. There was some people that just specialized in sword. They only wanted to play sword, which is fair. It's a fun weapon. And once it got nerfed again, they were done with the game. Makes sense. Is that me? No, I do play other things, but like, now I'm getting to a point where there's this heal meta. I can't play sword. I could barely play light unless I'm being a heal bitch. So it's, honestly, it just feels terrible, dude. Anything with high burst is doing exceptionally well now, which is fine. Switch up the meta, but not with heals, dude. And not with nerfs. Like, I don't think reducing the time to kill of all these weapons is a good idea. It's just boring, dude. It's so boring. This is a clip I found on Reddit earlier today, and it kind of just states exactly what I've been thinking about the heal gun and healing in general. Yes, this is quick cash, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. Right? What is that? What is that, dude? He should, the man should have died. Old mate should have kept his point. There shouldn't be a scenario where you're taking point and you just get the point for free because you've got a light beaming down your heart, you know? I don't know what their idea for this game is at the moment. I'm going to give a hot take. I think Season 3 was the right call. And if you don't know what I'm talking about how they changed rank into terminal attack. Now, I will say it wasn't the right call, but the idea of changing ranked majorly, doing something big, huge, you know, that was the right call. We need to do big changes for this game. Otherwise, these small, minute changes to guns making them worse and worse and worse, or these big changes to guns and making them worse and worse and worse, and nerfing and nerfing and nerfing and adding heals, and I'll just say that for now, and I'll move on, honestly, because this video is probably getting way too long. So I love you guys. I'll leave it there, and I'll see you boys in the finals. So divinely here, performing for